Well, hello there, friend. Welcome back to the Construction Leadership Podcast. I am your host, Bradley Hartmann. So we are now past the NCAA National Championship for basketball, and stunner, Cooper Flagg did not win at least something, and Florida. Not a big fan. I was hoping they were going to lose. And now the University of Houston has lost a national championship yet again, the third time. I was rooting for them only partially because they are in my home state of Texas. But every single year around this time, I think of this one article, and I finally made room for it. I broke down, I wrote my thoughts, and I hope you enjoy this essay called The Curse of Yes: How Jim Valvano Burned Out and Why You Are at Risk Too. At this time every year, two unforgettable moments from Jim Valvano's life come rushing back to me. The first is Jimmy V as basketball coach at North Carolina State University. His team has just stunned the University of Houston to win the 1983 NCAA National Championship. Now, if you didn't know, his team won that game after nearly turning the ball over with 3 seconds left, after Derek Wittenberg chucked up a desperation air ball that was then caught in midair by Lorenzo Charles and dunked just before time expired. You certainly know what happened afterward. Oh yeah, you have seen this clip.
It's down to 7 seconds.
You can see the time. Wittenberg. Oh, it's a long ways. Oh!
They won it. On the dunk.
Jim Valvano sprints onto the court. Gray suit, white shirt, red tie. He is rocking a Vinnie Barbarino mullet, jet black hair draped over the entirety of his ears, saved only by a 90-degree angle scissor job slicing horizontally just above his earlobes. Googly-eyed, he runs out to half court and encounters an ecstatic bench warmer. Valvano pirouettes to his left like a 37-year-old Italian-American Saquon Barkley. Nope, not wasting this moment with that guy. Arms flailing, Jim Valvano runs toward a group hug centered around the center that dunked the game winner. It's arguably the most iconic clip in the history of coaching celebrations. And the second Jimmy V moment is a decade later, March 4th, 1993. Valvano is on stage at ESPN's annual awards banquet. The former coach is announcing the launch of the V Foundation for Cancer Research. The punchline of his speech was, "Don't give up. Don't ever give up." The following month, Jim Valvano died. Now, I didn't know much about Jimmy V's life in between those two moments, but I was unsurprised to learn he was Carpe Diem personified. This guy seized the day. Every day, every opportunity. Here's what Gary Smith wrote in his Sports Illustrated article titled, "As Time Runs Out." Nobody had more fun than me. How many people do you know who've had their dream come true? You're looking at one. That was my creative period, my run, my burst of energy. Start his own company, JTV Enterprises? I can do that. Write his own newspaper column, his own championship season book? I can do that. Broadcast his own daily radio commentary, his own weekly call-in radio program and local TV show in Raleigh, North Carolina? I can do that. Sell the advertising time for his own radio and TV shows? I can do that. Commission an artist to paint an NCAA championship game picture each year and sell the prints to boosters of the school that wins? I can do that. Commission a sculptor to produce life-size figures of the greats of sport for teams to showcase outside their stadiums? I can do that. Write a cookbook. He didn't even know where the trash bags for the kitchen trash can were. I can do that. Make 10 Nike speeches, 20 alumni club speeches, 25 to 50 speeches on the national lecture circuit, and a dozen charity speeches each year? I can do that. Host his own sports talk show on ESPN? I can do that. Take on the athletic director's job at NC State as well as coach basketball? Are you sure, V? I can do that. Gary Smith writes, "This was not for glory, not for money. There was none of either in the AD's job, for God's sake. It came from a deeper, wider hunger, an existential tapeworm, a lust to live all the lives he could have lived, would have lived, should have lived, if it weren't for the fact that he only had one. A shake of the fist at death long before it came knocking, a defiance of the worms." Now, quick sidebar, if this sounds like great writing, it is. Buy the book Beyond the Game by Gary Smith. It's a collection of his greatest sports stories, and it's phenomenal. You see, everything sounded like an opportunity to Jimmy V. An opportunity to make an impact, to have fun. Huzzah for existential tapeworms! What could be wrong with that? After all, you only YOLO once, right? But I didn't know Jimmy V was fired from NC State. I didn't know about the allegations of grade fixing and drug test hiding and automobile gifting. I didn't know about the 8-month NCAA investigation that found nothing to support such dramatic accusations. No shenanigans involving grades, drugs, or cars. Valvano and his program were clean. Well, nearly. Because this is the NCAA we're talking about, the organization whose unofficial tagline could be majoring in the minor since 1906. NC State was slapped with a 2-year probation and banned from the 1990 NCAA tournament for 2 infractions. Players had sold tickets to games and offloaded some of their extra Nikes. That's it. But it was enough to bounce Coach Jimmy. Valvano realized too late that while his energy and enthusiasm may have been inexhaustible, his calendar was not. Valvano said, "I didn't have as much time to give them," referring to his players, "after I became athletic director. I tried to do too much. They couldn't just walk into my office at any time of day, like before, and just talk. It was a little less each year, especially for the 13th, 14th, and 15th players. But each time, the change was imperceptible for me. It happens without you realizing it." I get it. Man, do I understand Jim Valvano. I want to say yes to everything. Everything sounds like an opportunity to me. An opportunity to make an impact, to have fun. And yeah, I know there are riches in niches and all that. I know. I know we should concentrate our efforts on what has already made us successful, but there's so much opportunity. Which is why I enlisted the help of Cal Newport to help me say no. And yet, 100 days into 2025, it's not working. I'm failing. In 2016, when Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, was published, I inhaled this thing. Listened to the audiobook, read the book, listened to the audiobook again. Its 3 simple rules clearly illuminated the path toward focus and sanity at work. Rule number 1, work deeply. Limit distractions and allow yourself large chunks of time to be thoughtful. Leverage the mental momentum that builds from thinking deeply without interruption. Rule number 2, embrace boredom. Cultivate the ability to go for longer than 12 seconds without pawing for the phone in your pocket. Rule number 3, quit social media. Well, yeah, the smartest minds on the planet aren't curing cancer or leading governments. They're hacking our attention through social media. They've gotten better at this, and we've gotten worse at resisting it. And 8 years ago, we had yet to conjure up the wisdom of pairing the addictiveness of social media with online sports gambling. Okay, deep breath, Hartmann. Stay focused. Pull it back together. You can do this. In fits and starts, I'd return to Deep Work, both the book and the ideas in it. Then last year, Cal Newport published Slow Productivity. If Deep Work was Jim Valvano, then Slow Productivity was Dick Vitale. Kind of the same thing, but with different stories. There were 3 rules in Slow Productivity. Rule number 1, do fewer things. Rule number 2, work at a natural pace. And rule number 3, obsess over quality. And once again, I found myself nodding along at the obvious wisdom in Newport's recommendations. I bought copies for my team and I asked them to read it. This, I said, this is what we're going to do in 2025. And you're going to hold me accountable. The 2025 version of me would be less Jimmy and more Cal, because Cal Newport is the inverse of Jim Valvano. Cal Newport is pristine, waspy white, stoic to the point of monotone, and raised in the suburban charm of Pennington, New Jersey, a town that surely smells like freshly cut grass and tiger moms driving their kids to Kuman. He earned a PhD from MIT and now teaches at Georgetown University, preaching the gospel of deep work with the tick-tock cadence of a metronome. Jim Valvano, on the other hand, was born in a tracksuit, the son of Rocco and Angelina. His face could have been etched onto the seal of the Italian-American Civil Rights League. He earned his street smarts in Corona, Queens, charming only if you're nostalgic for nail salons, wedged in between a pawn shop and Fat Tony's 24-hour bail bonds. While Cal whispered his way through academia, Jimmy V bullhorned through life, louder and more likable than contemporaries like Bobby Knight on the court at NC State, and more enthusiastic and insightful on the air at ESPN. But Valvano, he could have learned from Newport. In Slow Productivity, Newport writes, "There exists a myth that it's hard to say no, whether to someone else or to your own ambition. The reality is that saying no isn't so bad if you have hard evidence that it's the only reasonable answer." Jim Valvano's evidence wasn't hard, and the answer came too late. "Every season I had bronchitis," he said. "Bad colds. Twice I had pneumonia. The night we won the NCAA, I was as sick as a dog. I was the mycin man all season. Erythromycin, clindamycin. I wouldn't rest. I'd just pop the antibiotics and keep going. Who knows, maybe I put my body in a position to get this. I've been reading books on cancer. They say it often occurs if your immune system is lowered and then you have trauma." My wife and I talk about dialing it back all the time. Well, she tells me I have to dial it back, and I nod along. I say, yeah, I will. Just got to get through this next sprint ahead of us, right? Like Jimmy V and his manic, hyper-competitive, nonstop college coaching pals, my friends are entrepreneurs and business owners in the construction industry whose wives all say the same thing about them. He can't say no to anything. One builder had a heart attack last year. He was 42. I had a stroke 3 years ago. And next month, I'll be the same age as Jim Valvano when he died. Now, I'm sharing this because these are the same challenges that trip up many of my executive coaching clients. Smart, hardworking leaders who are often overwhelmed by the complexity of their lives. A leader's first responsibility is to eliminate confusion, and that process starts with themselves. I'm able to help because I bring an outside perspective, one that isn't caught up in the whirlwind their life has become. But I don't write about this because I've mastered it, but because I need the reminder myself, and I want to hold myself publicly accountable. This is why I'm back to revisiting Cal and his rules for living, for working. I reread Deep Work over spring break. Work deeply, embrace boredom, quit social media. Got it. Next week, I'm diving back into Slow Productivity. Do fewer things. Work at a natural pace, obsess over quality. Yeah, it all seems pretty obvious. The good news is that this all isn't imperceptible to me. It's not happening without me realizing it. In fact, if I stop beating myself up for a minute, I can see that I've made real progress with my sleep discipline. And hey, it's a start. It reminds us we're not alone in the struggle. In fact, I know it's more than just you, me, and Jimmy V that are dealing with this. Because even Cal Newport, my slow productivity guru, the guy who tells everyone to do less, this cat juggles 5 full-time jobs. That's right. He's a professor at Georgetown University. He's a nonfiction author. He's a contributing writer for The New Yorker. He has a weekly podcast that he hosts, and he's a global public speaker. Do you see? Do you see it now? Everybody is fighting their own battles. And so The words of Jimmy V echo in my ear.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
That's right. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Now, in the months ahead, I plan to revisit this theme of slow productivity. And to the extent this resonates with you, I want to hear from you. The stories from your life about opportunities and the challenges of saying no, how you're approaching it, and what is and what's not working. Feel free to send me an email directly at bradley@bradleyhartmanandco.com. That's all we've got. Thanks for listening. You, my friend, are owed nothing. Deliver value first.